Hi, hello, how are you? My name is Celeste, and here on this channel, we talk about books, reading books, book things, book community, really anything relating to books. And today we have a book review. I've been looking forward to this for a really long time, ever since this book came out and it came across my social media, so it has blown up literally everywhere. And I'm sure you've already seen from the title what we're going to be talking about today. And that is the highly anticipated book of 2023, Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I think I'm saying her last name right. So I had an idea for this video that didn't come at all to fruition. I initially was going to go ahead and start continue, I should say, to do the book report route, which I did for the last two videos where I had like a PowerPoint. I gave myself a visual aid, so it kind of helped. But then as I was reading the book, I had so many thoughts during my reading that it ended up kind of being like a semi-reading vlog, although it wasn't very organized because it was not my original plan to do. So I didn't start off the video before reading the book because I didn't think I was going to need to. So this is going to be a little bit choppy, I should say, but who cares? So before we get into the reading vlog portion of this video, I just want to say full spoilers ahead, especially once I get to the reading vlog. I had no qualms talking about what was going on in the book and showing quotes and stuff. So if you haven't read the book already, go freaking read it. It's so good. If you love romance, if you love fantasy, if you love dragons, go pick up a copy. I know there was a point where it was really hard to find a copy. Like, I bought this probably like over a month ago, which was like August. And the book came out, I think, in May of this year, I think. And it was nearly sold out all the way to August. So I figured I would pick up a copy because I didn't know how much more crazy it was going to get, because already the second book is coming out in November. So I didn't know if it was going to be more sold out the closer we got to the second book's release. But if you can find a copy, or you have a copy, pick it up and read it. It's so freaking good. Like I said, romance, fantasy, dragons, action, you name it, it's in the book. So that is your warning. Let's just get into the reading vlog. Okay, please ignore the state that I'm in right now. I did not intend for this to be a reading vlog at all, but I feel like this book is warranting it. So I am reading. We're reading Fourth Wing. Sure, you already know that by now. I'm about 50% of the way through. And so far, I'm overall really liking the world building. I really like the characters. I especially love our main character, Violet. I'm a sucker for main characters that are not initially strong. I'm a sucker for it. I like my occasional, like, just general badass, you know, like Aelin. But I also really love when the main character has to really work for everything, and she definitely does. She has to really prove herself. And to kind of catch this up to speed, because I haven't filmed anything up to here, who was going to tell me that Xaden was gonna make me feel like a little schoolgirl and want to kick my feet every time that he comes onto the page? Like, I was reading, well, I started this like a little under a week ago, but I didn't really have time to read it until this past weekend. I was in a coffee shop on Friday. Today's Sunday. I was at a coffee shop on Friday, and I got to the part where she's like, they're doing the sparring, and Xaden like comes into the ring because her opponent, she like poisoned too early, so they had to go to the healers. And I don't know how I kept it, like, cool as I was reading that scene, because when he said, "Get your dagger," I felt like I was going to implode on the spot. Like, I felt I was just gonna, like, spontaneously combust. And I don't know how I didn't. And then I think I was at, like, 25% of the way through by Friday. It was kind of more so working on, like, all of the challenges and getting ready for, I think, the presentation. And so today I started with, I think, the presentation. I mostly read today. Usually that's what I do on Sundays. And first off, the way that she got up the presentation by kind of bending the rules, I thought that was super cool. I love that she uses her smarts at every moment she can. Because brains are just as important as brute. So, what else? The threshing. Am I saying that right? Threshing. So I thought, so the minute that they went through and, like, walked through all of the dragons and, you know, basically let the dragons, like, look at all of them, the minute that they mentioned the tiny gold one, what is my hair? The tiny gold one, I was like, oh, she's gonna bond to that one. Because it was so obvious that, like, they were paralleled in terms of, like, size and a quote-unquote apparent weakness. But then I also remembered them talking about the black dragon at the beginning, and I was like, well, they wouldn't really be foreshadowing this much if she doesn't bond with that one. And so when she's in the threshing and she's saving the golden dragon, I was like, oh, so the golden dragon's gonna bond with her, and they're both gonna have to figure out how to work together if they both have their weaknesses. And then the black dragon came out, and I was like, no fucking way. And then like, the minute that he started to talk to her, I was like, you're fucking kidding me. I was on the couch losing my mind. And the minute that he bonded with her, and then once the gold dragon was flying behind them, I was like, no way. There's no way that she gets two dragons. Like, I thought we were gonna have to, like, choose between the ones, and I was gonna be like, oh, I kind of miss the gold dragon. She gets two dragons. What is the one? Tarn is the black dragon, and the gold dragon is, I forget her name. I forgot it. Mostly because I don't think I'm saying it right in my head. Yeah, that was, like, I don't know. I don't have any other word than, like, insane to me. Good insane. And then Dane is just, like, actively pissing me off. So he's well written in the fact that I understand where he's coming from, but then he's also so well written that I understand what his flaws are, and he's not just one big old red flag. He has his, like, green, beige, and red flags. And I understand, like, his reasoning behind a lot of things, and then I understand why Violet is like, why can't you just admit that you like me and not, why do you refuse to bend the rules for me? Which I understand, because she has had to bend the rules plenty of times. And then when it was revealed that Xaden's dragon is mated to Violet's dragon, so technically they're not mated, they're just, like, tethered to each other. If she dies, he dies. He dies, she dies. And, like, they can talk to each other's dragons and stuff without it being, like, political between the dragons. And I thought that was a pretty cool way of implementing the, like, bonded trope that a lot of fantasy books are entering because of the mating bond trend that Sarah J. Maas introduced. Well, not introduced, but I would say popularized. And I think this is a good way, because it's like, oh, it's not like some random, like, fate. Like, I like a good fate plotline, but it gets to the point where it's like, okay, we fucking get it. Like, every main character is fucking fated to be with this random person. I like this way better because it's like, oh, it's still fate because things happen for a reason, but it's like not, I don't know, it's different. And then when he like saves her from being killed, and he like, I don't know, like he's getting a little flirty. I'm on chapter 21 right now. I think I'm at the butt end of chapter 21. And the reason why I decided to start filming, look at my hair, it's not even in my bun. The reason why I decided to just start filming my thoughts as I'm reading is because I have so many moments where Xaden does something, or the dragons say something, or they do something, and I'm just like looking into a fake camera like I'm on The Office. And this was one of those moments where it's so small, but like in my head I'm like, this is everything to me. So it was on chapter 21, page 259. So she drops her quill, Violet drops her quill, and she looks down, and a little shadow is creeping in and picks it up for her. And I know that's so small, but there's just something about it where I'm like, okay. So this little part of my reading vlog was long because I had to catch you up on 50% of the book, but I'll try and keep up with it. No guarantees. But yeah, I like this so far. This is a book that I'm like reading, and I'll look at the page and I'm like, holy shit, I've read like 100 pages and I didn't even realize. And it's just, I haven't felt that for a long time with a book where I'm just reading and I'm not trying to see how many pages I have left until I get to halfway point, until I get to this point. Like, I'm just reading and it feels so nice. So, okay, I'm gonna go back to reading. Ask me nicely. I'm losing my mind. I love the idea of him just saying, you have incredibly touchable skin. Okay. Please ignore, I have dry shampoo in my hair. So I turned the page and I saw something and I immediately was like, I need to just film me reading this page. So we'll see if what I read was actually it. You just called her astonishing. I can't do it. I don't think I can make it through this chapter. It says, his thumbs stroke over the soft skin under my ears, and his gaze drops to my mouth and heats. Hands flexing, he draws me forward a few inches before he suddenly lets go and retreats a full step. Damn it, touching it was a bad idea. The worst, I agree, but my tongue skims my lower lip. He groans. Kissing you would be a cataclysmic mistake. I was not anticipating this. I thought we were just going right into the sparring thing that they're talking about. I wasn't anticipating this when I was entering this chapter. Oh. I don't think I can make it. I don't think I can do it. Regretting is a problem for future Violet. Yeah. Oh, I forgot that they were against the wall. Oh my god. I feel this in my chest. I have butterflies. What the fuck? wrapping her legs around him. Is this going farther than I think it is, or are they just kissing? I feel like this just has to be a kiss the first time. I don't think that... I feel like she would build it up more. I think they're just gonna kiss. God, I love enemies to lovers. This is total... I don't know. I was gonna say, I was like, this feels like it's totally gonna be like a he falls first. I feel like it could be. Because obviously she's like really attracted to him, but she's not like into him. But the way that he worded that, where he was like, because I can't, I refuse to act on a desire that isn't yours, so you have to walk up the steps now. Because, like, it seems like he's pretty good at grounding himself. So I definitely think this is like he falls first. I think I have to end it for the night. I don't know if I can read anymore. That was a lot. It's been a while since a book has given me butterflies, dude. I don't know. I know that I should probably stop now or else I'm gonna read all night. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop for the night. For my own good. Because I don't know what the fuck's coming up after this. Okay. Oh my god. Hi. So I did end up reading one more chapter and then going to bed last night. Nothing really happened. I figured, I was like, I should probably stop now before something happens and I'm up until 2 in the morning reading before I have to go to work in the morning. But I am heading to a coffee shop to read because I want to. Anytime it's a fall day and it's like semi-cold, my brain is just like, let's go get a chai and some French onion soup. So that's what I'm going to go do. But I'm a little worried because I know there's probably going to be parts in the book that I'm reading in public and I can't like actively talk about it. So we're going to see how it goes. I'm excited. I've been looking forward to this all day. So we're going to go to a coffee shop. We're going to go to my favorite coffee shop where they have, like I said, amazing chai and French onion soup. So. Okay, I'm back home. When I left the coffee shop, I was at the part where, so they had just won the squad games by stealing a map in Violet's mom's office. So they won, and they're at now this post, which was the prize of winning the squad games, is that you got like some time to see the front lines. And Mira is there, Violet's sister, and Mira, Rhiannon, and Violet all go visit Rhiannon's family because she has a pregnant sister, which they kind of guilt trip Mira into going with them because she initially catches them trying to sneak out. And then we learn that it's only been 3 days and Xaden is already there because their dragons couldn't stay apart for more than 3 days. So he's there now. They're having like a hypothetical situation, and well, this is like a day after he catches them like sneaking out. They're having like this hypothetical like battle brief kind of where they have to figure out how they would approach a situation, and everyone is so hold on. So Mira is like trying to lead this group of first years, pretty much. And she's like, imagine that we're doing this. And every single one, they're always like, but that wouldn't happen. And you can just feel, like, the fact that she's, like, I envision her, like, with her hands on the table, like, standing while everyone's sitting, and she's just, like, like, you can feel the frustration. Obviously, like, she's, like, says some very frustrated, like, says some things that notes that she's pretty frustrated. But she's like, whatever, just pretend. And she's like, I need you guys to figure out who's in charge. And so they're like, oh, it's Dane. And then Dane, or someone goes, oh, it's Liam. And he's like, well, our wing leader is here because Zayden's there. And he's like, just pretend I'm not here. And so Liam is trying to lead everything, but he's, like, so jealous of Violet and Zayden that he just, like, doesn't, he's, like, not doing his job. He's being so annoying. And, like, it gets to the point where after they're done, Mira, like, pulls him aside and, like, rips him a new asshole. She's like, figure your shit out. Like, she literally tells him, like, I think it was, like, what'd she say? I was laughing. Oh. She says, she goes, Atos, Ryerson, and Sorengale, I want to see you in the hallway. The rest of you are dismissed. It's not like any of us have an option, so we follow Mira out to the spiral staircase. She shuts the door behind us and throws up a line of blue energy that covers the entrance. Sound shield, Dane says with a smile. Nice. Shut up. Mira spins to the top step, putting her finger in Dane's face. I don't know what bug has crawled up your ass, Dane, but I've forgotten that you're a squad leader. Just the way, like, he's like, nice. She goes, shut up. And then, of course, oh, I lost my bookmark. And then, of course, there's, like, an attack, and that's kind of where I left, because I knew some shit was about to go down, and I didn't want to be in public while I read it. So I'm home now. So that's what we're gonna do. So, maybe I was wrong. Maybe nothing's gonna happen, but we'll see. He made her a saddle. I was wondering when it gets to that point. I was like, can you guys not have saddles on these things? But it's not only that. She's, like, trying, obviously, like, pride. She doesn't want to accept it because no one else is going to have one. And she's like, no, everyone's going to know that I can't keep my seat, which he makes a good point. Everyone already knows. I feel like it's pretty hard to hide falling off and constantly being thrown up back onto your dragon. But she's, like, thinking, and he says, in her mind, so no one else can hear, he says, fuck, that stubborn, feisty look always makes me want to kiss you. Enough! Enough! Okay. I don't know what to do. Okay. I turned my camera off, read a page, and then stuff immediately fucking happened. So Mira's like, get him out of here. She's like, I can't have first years fighting. And Violet, of course, she's like trying to be protective of her sister. She's like, let me help. I have like a very powerful dragon. And Mira's like, no, you can't even stay seated, so you have to leave. And so she tasks Zayden with getting her out of there. And everyone is left at this point. It's just Zayden and Violet on this, like, I think a rooftop. And she's like, call in the favor you owe me. I don't care. We can stay. I just can't leave her here. It's wrong and it's something she'd never do to me. I have to stay for her. I just have to. And he has, like, all this compassion in his eyes. And then he just kisses her. And he says, leave for me, Violet. Oh my god! Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Oh my god. I need water. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna keep reading. Oh. 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 What? 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 I don't know. My book. So yeah, it was quite an adventure of a ride. I somehow managed to avoid spoilers, which I'm very proud of. I am the worst person when it comes to either coming across a spoiler and then just not even realizing that it's a spoiler and still looking at it, and then retrospectively being like, oh, god damn it, I didn't mean to look at that. Or I like look at fan art and I accidentally spoil something for myself. I did so good. I barely even knew what the story was about. All I knew was that it was like enemies to lovers, dragons, and really that's it. And I am so happy that I didn't know much about it, because I feel like if I did, I wouldn't have been disappointed. It wouldn't have been as exciting. This is a very hyped book. People are calling this like the fantasy book of the decade. We're only 3 years into the decade, so I don't know if we can make that claim yet, but I will say it's very hyped, and there were some parts where I was like, oh, like, is this as deserving as how much hype it's getting, to where people are calling it a perfect fantasy book? I don't think it's perfect. There's barely any books that I think are perfect, but I would say that this is damn near close when it comes to a lot of the books I've read recently. I'm just going to get into what I liked about the book, assuming that you've read it already, so you already know what it's about. The world building. So this is things that I liked. The world building of the book felt so enthralling, and I felt like this doesn't happen a lot for me. I'm someone who often is looking at how many pages I have left in a chapter, how many chapters I have left in a book, how many pages, whatever. I'm constantly like trying to figure out how much more until I finish it, until I know how this ends. This, I was so enthralled with the world building and just the environment we were in that I flew right into it. And there were times where I forgot that I was reading. Like I would start, I have like this vivid memory of when I was reading, and I think I started on like page 100, and I was just reading, and then I looked at the pages after a while, and I was like, holy shit, I'm like on page 300. I've read 200 pages. I haven't even realized. Like, that doesn't happen a lot for me. Like, I'm trying to remember the last book that I really did that on, and I don't know what the last book I did that on was. I think it's a testament to Yaros's writing that the world building felt easy to digest and interesting at the same time. One of the things that I find a lot with fantasy books is that the world building can be like almost a mouthful. Like, it feels like when you take too big of a bite and now you're like, shit, now I gotta eat this. I can't spit it out. I have to chew it and swallow it. This, it felt like she was kind of baby bite, like feeding me like a mama bird. Like, I could understand bits and pieces. There were definitely some parts where I was like, what is going on? Like, who is this again? And then like later on it would be explained. And so I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And I kind of just had to trust her writing, in that she wasn't just going to leave me hanging with, oh, who's this person, or where are we? What's the point of this plot point? Like, from the very first page, the world building begins, but it almost like, it felt like I was like watching a movie. Like, the descriptions were so vivid that I felt like behind my eyes, I could close them and I could see everything that was going on, which is just amazing writing. Not every author can pull that off, especially I think within the fantasy genre, which a lot of times just focuses so much on getting the logistics down and getting everything out so that they can get into the story. Yaros does a really, really good job of making it super detailed and beautifully written. to where you can admire the craft of her writing while also taking in the actual logistics of the world. And we are also introduced to Violet, who is the daughter of, I think, a general, if I remember. She's a high political figure, and she's the youngest of 3. And she's also very, they call her frail, but I did see that the author specified that she does have a disability. I don't remember which one. Let me actually look it up. So Yaros has stated, I don't know if she's stated it. Okay, so the book has never explicitly stated it, but given her symptoms, people have determined that she has something called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, EDS, which is a chronic condition that affects the body's connective tissue, which makes sense. She's constantly bandaging up her knees. She can't quite get up on her dragon because her body isn't made to do that. And that is what I fucking want in a fantasy main character. I've read plenty of these characters where they're strong already. They are super badass and they can do anything physically. And they don't have to prove themselves anymore because they are just cool. You know? I don't want someone like that. I want someone that has real fucking struggles. Like, the fact that we only just now, I feel like in 2023, and I'm sure there's other books out there that have characters who are disabled and do all this badass stuff. I just haven't. I when it comes to fantasy, I've kind of stuck to the main things that everyone reads. So I'm really sticking to like the popular things. I haven't delved into like indie fantasy or anything yet. So this is just me talking about things that are very, very popular. I feel like so often every fantasy main character fits into this mold where they are physically strong. They are beautiful. They are witty. They are already experienced in something somehow, whether it's fighting, killing, hunting. They're all white. That doesn't really get fixed in this book, but they're all able-bodied. They're all straight. It's like very rarely do we get something that deviates from that. And although Violet is not the perfect main character when it comes to representation, she's still a cishet white woman. She does still have so many factors against her, including, her physical stature, her, ability to complete these challenges, given the fact that she does have a disability, a chronic condition. And I think that was such a good thing to throw in. Because how often do you see stuff like that? How often do people get to read a character that also has like joint issues like they do? A fantasy is supposed to be a way that we escape the world, but some people want to see, characters like them in those worlds. And although when it comes to all the characters, there's not a whole lot of diversity, but there is different kinds of diversity in this book than I have seen than other books, especially fantasy books. Like, we do still have like the token black character. We have, racially ambiguous main male love interest. But we also do have, like I said, disability representation. One of the scribes that Violet is friends with is deaf. I thought that was pretty fucking cool. We do have some LGBTQIA plus representation, some queer representation. One of the wing leaders, I think, a wing leader or the squad leader, used they, them pronouns, and it just flowed. Like, it wasn't like one of those things where the author was like, this is so-and-so. They don't pertain to male or female. Like, it was just, hey, this is this person. I'm changing the pronouns for this bit where I talk about them. Like, That's one of the things too, where sometimes these authors, especially fantasy authors, I'm looking at you, Sarah J. Maas, where they implement these characters who are different from the norm, or are minorities, I should say. And they make it a point to be like, this is what makes them a minority, but it's okay. I don't need a character. I don't need you to tell me what makes this character different. We fucking know. You can just add them to the story. So much like Yaros did, where she just, here's a squad leader I'm talking about. Oh, I switched to they, them pronouns. Did you catch it? You know, I like it like that. When aside from that, I kind of went on a little tangent. I meant to talk about that a little later, but Violet, she has so many odds against her. Her mom barely believes in her, I feel like, is forcing her into the writer's quadrant, I think is what it's called. And she's been training to be a scribe like her whole life because her father was a scribe. And so her mother's like, no, you're gonna go fight. Like, basically it's like, oh, you wanted to go to school and like learn about literature? No, you're gonna go into the fucking military. Like, that's what it basically is. And her mom barely believes in her. Her brother is dead. Her dad is dead. Her sister is like, was born and bred to be in the writer's quadrant. So she doesn't really understand all of her struggles. But Violet is like, well, you know what? This is my situation. I'm going to fucking do it. And so she gets, you know, she makes it. Their first challenge is getting across this like tiny, tiny little, like, not even a bridge. It's like the edge of a building, basically, when it comes to like size. So she gets across that through thunder and lightning and rain, mind you. And she has like even her best friend, Dane, I'm calling him Dane, who's constantly like, I can get you into the scribe quarters, blah, blah, blah. And he's he pissed me off so much. And I know he was supposed to, but he's constantly like doubting her, and not in the way where he's like, I just don't want you to get hurt. That's how he frames it. But what he is he's just he doesn't believe in her. He doesn't believe that she can do it, despite the fact that she has done it time and time again. And so she has all these people who are not in her corner, no matter how much they say that they are. She does the first thing that her sister tells her not to, which is make friends. She makes friends with Rhiannon. Yes, I don't know why I was blanking on her name. She makes friends with this girl, Rhiannon, who is standing in front of her before they go on to, I think it's called like a parapet. I don't know. She gives her one of her boots because her sister, Mira, had basically geared her up for what to expect. She gave her like this corset made of dragon scales. She gave her these like boots that would grip onto the parapet. She, you know, told her all these things. She gave her like a book that her brother wrote for her. So she's passing it on to Violet. So she's had like a little bit of a step ahead because she has a sibling who is who's already a dragon rider, and she also has a mother who is a dragon rider as well. And so she makes a friend. She shows them kindness. She is constantly beating the odds through her own wit, because that's the thing that she has going for her, is that she spent so long training to be a scribe and honing her intelligence that it's what saves her, you know, because what is brawn without brains? And oftentimes people usually say that brains outbeat brawn, and in this book they do. She, you know, learns that she can just poison her contestants, and she is constantly attacked by people, whether it's verbally or physically, and she always manages to pick herself back up and continue going. And there is nothing harder than constantly being beat down by the people around you and having people not believe in you and picking yourself back up. Like, that is such an admirable quality that she has, and I'm so happy that she has that, and she actually has to struggle through a lot of things. It rewards her because she is so kind and caring. When she goes to protect the small gold dragon during the threshing, which is when dragons choose their humans that they want to bond with. She breaks her fucking ankle running to go save this dragon because she notices that these 3 guys are about to go commit a crime and kill a dragon. And she's like, you can't go kill something because it's frail. You can't do that. Like, that's so fucked up. Because she has been frail her whole life, and people have just been, this entire time that she's in this quadrant and training for her first year, people are constantly coming at her of like, you are the weak link of the squad, so we have to kill you. And so she's time and time again having to prove herself like, no, I'm not a fucking weak link. You guys just can't look past what I look like. And the fact that, yeah, I'm small, but I can still do everything that you guys do. It might just take a little bit extra effort, which in turn makes me stronger than you. And so she's running. She literally breaks her fucking ankle and still fights off 3 people who already want her dead. So she's like double fucked. And she's rewarded with the like prized dragon, I should say, of the year. There's this dragon who, his name is Tarn. He's this giant black dragon. I feel like he's a black dragon. So he's huge. And he like hasn't bonded since his rider died. And we find out that his rider died saving her brother. Or no, wait, her brother died saving his rider. And he like sees her save Andarna and he chooses her. And then we find out that he and Xaden's dragon are mated and that they care for this tiny little dragon because she's a literal baby. That's why she's so small, is that she's a fucking baby. They're not supposed to be there if they're a baby. It's just like she put in so much work and so much courage without even thinking of a reward, and she was rewarded anyways with coming out with 2 bonded dragons. 2. That's crazy. And like the entire time I was actively rooting for her. She's hilarious. She is so real in the way that she is like immediately drawn to Xaden, who is the main male character. And she's immediately drawn to him, and she's constantly like, oh my God, he's so hot. I can't say that. Why the fuck did I say that? Like, you know how in your brain you say something and then you actively get embarrassed and you're like, why the fuck did I say that? Oh my God, I wish I could. Like, you get embarrassed by yourself. She is me and I am her. Where you say something internally, you're like, God, why the fuck did I do that? Even though no one's fucking reading your mind. And she does have flaws. And I love it. Her flaws make her who she is, and her flaws are something that she is learning actively, because this is a 5-book series. This is only book number 1. She still has so much time to hone everything. Those flaws, I am sure, will continue to set her apart from the rest of the people around her and do what she needs to do to save whatever comes on in the other books. She makes mistakes. And we love her for it. I love a character who makes mistakes because I make them every single day. I make them all the time. Like I said, her relationships with other people, we'll start with the non-romantic ones. Her and Rhiannon are that true female friendship where they are just straight up rooting for each other. Like, there's nothing I fucking hate more than, especially in a fucking fantasy book, because everyone's competing with each other, especially in these like, you know, game type things where they're just competing with each other. So like their friendships are always underlined with some sort of competition, some sort of misandry. And it never felt like that with her and Rhiannon. Like, they felt like true friends, you know, like, God, I loved every scene that Rhiannon was in. She's so fucking cool. I love a bisexual queen. I love that she offer to help Violet in the sparring ring as like a trade-off of like, well, you help me learn with my brain, I'll help you learn with your body. And I just, like, Rhiannon feels like someone that truly understands who Violet is in a way that only a true female friend can understand another woman. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense, but that's just how it feels. Her and Liam, God, holy fuck. Liam, oh my God. That one hurt. Like, starting off as someone's basically bodyguard and then sacrificing yourself. That one hurt. That one hurt a lot. And they all just like banter with each other so much that it just feels so true to, like, I was thinking back on, because Violet's only about 20. So this is kind of like what you would be like a freshman or a sophomore, junior in college for me. And like how I was with my friends as we were all studying and doing all these things. And you need your friends to like give you light during things. And not everything has to be serious. And I was so happy that they found happiness in each other's friendships and closeness with their squad through probably bonded trauma, because they're watching everyone die and they have to kill people. But like, at least it was the friends we made along the way, right? And her relationship with her father, that one hurt a lot because she constantly says, I am not my mother's daughter. I am my father's daughter. Her father is the person that molded her to be who she is, to put her intelligence first, to put her studies and learning and continue to learn about the world and continue to just consistently search for knowledge everywhere you go. He's the one that instilled that in her, and he's the one that constantly kept her afloat. And when she found that note in that book, literally after her and Xaden like fucked up her whole room fucking, but like when she found that note, I was like, holy fuck, her father, like, it's one of those things where it like hurts because you're like, he's still looking out for her even though he died like 2 years ago or something. God, like, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, she feels like that kind of character where it's like she said, I am my father's daughter, but it's like, I am supposed to show everyone that I am my mother's daughter, but deep down, deep inside, I am my father's daughter. That is who I am to my core. And I love her for that. I love her. I love her and her father. I love her and her sister. I love when she remembers her brother. Her mom can go suck rocks, but like, that's character development, you know. That's just trauma. And now we'll get into the romantic relationship. Her and Xaden. Xaden had me like feeling like a literal schoolgirl every time he was on the page. The tension was palpable the minute that he was on the page. Immediate. And I know that, like, so going into the book, I knew what the tropes were, which was like enemies to lovers, forced proximity, forbidden love, all that kind of stuff. So I knew that it was going to be her and Xaden. And so I was just like, kind of every little bit and like crumb we got for that first half of the book, I was like taking them and waiting for more. That first scene on the sparring mat, I was in public. And I had to hold it together. And all they were doing was fucking wrestling in front of people. When he said, "Get my dagger." When he said, "Get my dagger," I felt something inside of me crumble, die, set on fire, rot inside my body, grow, and reblossom. That's what it felt like. I knew. And obviously, he's just, I do see though, there were some things where I was like, okay, he looks a lot like all the other fantasy main male characters where they're racially ambiguous, they've got dark hair, they've got dark eyes. He's basically just Rysand Jr. But I ate that shit up. I'm sorry. I did. I understand the flaws of like his character and like, you know, the fact that he is basically just a embodiment of all of the other popular main male romance fantasy characters, but I'm sorry. He was a 5-course meal and I ate that shit fucking up. I'm sorry. He did have a little bit of a Castile moment from Blood and Ash. If you haven't seen that, I'll give you a time that you can jump to because I don't want to spoil it for you. But if you have, here you go. Okay? If you haven't, jump to this time. If you have, you can stick around. Where he like pulls the wool over her eyes a little bit. Not so much where he like pretends to be someone else. Like he's not two different people. He's still Xaden at the end of the book. But like the fact that he is still working with basically like the rebellion. Like he is still actively rebelling against the government, which I had a feeling of. I was like, well, duh, like he's got to be doing something. They're all meeting and they're all going places. And I don't think he's supposed to be going places. And so I had like a little bit of an inkling, but I was like, is that really where it's going to go? I don't know, because he has such high stakes where if someone is caught rebelling in like all of the other kids that have their rebellion relics and stuff, he dies. So his life is on the line if someone else fucks up. I was very surprised, but it felt so much like I didn't feel betrayed. I didn't, the way that I felt when, like, from Blood and Ash, where he just was completely pretending to be someone. Like, I didn't feel that type of betrayal because I was like, well, this government actually fucking sucks. So it kind of makes sense. I kind of side with him, you know? Like, they're hiding shit from you guys. And you guys are their active fucking military. So why the fuck are they hiding stuff from you? You know, so I agreed with him. So maybe I just fell for his charms and all that stuff, but I was not too hurt over it. Although it is going to be painful when they are separated-ish a little bit in Iron Flame, but I think I can live with that. I made it through the from Blood and Ash series. I think I can live through this. Okay. No more talking about From Blood and Ash. Let's keep going. I will say that I know there have been some concerns from other reviewers or like readers where they're like, oh my god, he's definitely not going to be endgame because the enemies are already lovers. And I was like, I don't think so. I think this is going to be, I think he's it. Because people are like, he's going to be the Tamlin of the series. First off, two completely different series. Sarah J. Maas is not the fucking blueprint, okay? He doesn't have to be anything. But if we had to, Dane is the fucking Tamlin, okay? Let's be fucking for real. He fucking sucks. And obviously Xaden is literally Rysand Jr., so I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I think that the other books will be them. How do we handle this secret? How do you teach me about the way that you view the world? How do we work together with our dragons? Because that's the thing, is that they don't have a mating bond, but their dragons do, which I think is nice because I'm getting sick and fucking tired of these fucking mating bonds, okay? I'm getting fucking sick and tired of it. I've seen way too many. And I like that this is a twist where it's like, we are still bound because of our dragons. Okay. That's it. And I like that. Obviously, like, moving on from the romance, plot-wise, I did think that the plot was fairly strong. I will say that the reason why I don't think this is a perfect 5-star read is because of some of the ways that the plot was told to us. What I do appreciate is that she doesn't draw shit out. Like, we don't have to know what goes on in every single month for like pages and pages. She did a good job of like, oh, nothing happened in February and March. So I'm just going to say February was this, March was this. Okay, now we're in June, you know, or not June. Now we're in April. I do kind of wish that there was a lot more. I know there was foreshadowing in terms of like, oh, they're not telling us what's in their borders. I almost wish there was more foreshadowing of like what was attacking them. Like, I don't know. It kind of felt a little bit like, there you go. That's what's going on. I wish there was just a tiny little bite more of it. And that's why I can't say that's a perfect book, because that was one of the parts where I was like, I wish that they just had a little bit more about what the fuck is going on. Whether it was like we find another scroll. I feel like I wish there was just another crumb after the book when she finds that note in the book. Just one more. I don't know what the fuck it would have been, but I don't know. I just wanted one more. I don't know why, but I just wanted just a little bit more foreshadowing. Just a little bit more. But I think it's a good setup for the rest of the series, because it's like, oh, obviously, like, there's got to be something more going on other than like, oh, she's at a war college for 3 years. No, there is like a war brewing. Things are attacking the borders. Can she really trust anyone? Can she trust her fucking mom? Obviously not. Her mom's a fucking bitch. Every subplot was so like as equally compelling as the main plot, because they all added something to the main plot. It was never just like some random fucking subplot about like, oh, this character's super cute and fun, and they are the comedic relief, so they have to have a subplot. It was like, no, every subplot has a reason, and we don't need like just random little funny subplots, because each plot on their own has their own like funny moments and tender moments and whatever. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time of this book. I feel like I'm still reeling from it. The thing that stuck with me the most is the characters. Like, the plot, I'm still like turning in my head a little bit, so it's hard to put into words how I truly felt about everything that happened, which is kind of stupid. Like, why the fuck am I talking about it? But, you know, whatever. I can do whatever I want. This is my channel. Yeah, I think for me, plot-wise, I loved the way that she handled the plot structure. I loved her writing. I wish, like, she did a really good trail of breadcrumbs, I should say, throughout the entire book of like what we were building up towards the end. I think I just wish I had a little bit extra breadcrumbs of like what Xaden was doing, because it was definitely like, oh, duh, he's supposed to be working with the rebellion, duh. I wanted just a little bit more, and I would have been satisfied. I will say, like, when I go back to writing, like, some of the lines were a little cringy, okay, but like, they weren't like painfully cringy. They were like, oh yeah, I definitely said stuff like that when I was 20, you know, like stuff like that. We're like, oh yeah, that's definitely what I was like when I was 20 years old. And that hurts to think about, because anytime that's not now for me is just cringe. Me last year, cringe. Me a month ago, cringe. Me yesterday, cringe. You know, like, overall, I think that this book deserves the praise that it's getting. Me personally. Like, I started it like about a week ago, but in terms of me like actually sitting down and reading it, 2 days to fly through. 2 days. I don't think I've done that since I read Heir of Fire, which is my favorite book in the Throne of Glass series. I read that in like 3 days. This only took 2 days. And I would be at work thinking about like, all I want to do is go home and read Fourth Wing. I need to be back in there. Like, not even like I need to know what happens. It's just, I want to be back in that world. That's how I imagine people who really love Harry Potter are like, where they're like, I need to go back into Harry Potter. That's how I felt about Fourth Wing, where it's like, I just want to be there. I don't want to do all the death challenges and stuff, but I want to be there. You know, like, when I tried to explain it to like my boyfriend or my friends about this book, all I could say was like, I just really fucking love it. Like, I don't have any other words. I love it. it's so fun. It's so interesting. It's so, like, good. That's all I could say. And I really, really wanted to save it for October so that I was closer to the sequel's release date, but I just couldn't. Like, it was sitting, I have had this for a month on my shelf, and I waited for fall because it felt like, I don't know if it's just like the colors of the book or what, or, you know, the fact that it's like goes over a whole, like, basically a school year. So I was like, maybe this is like a fall book, as well as me just wanting to read it as close to the sequel's release, which is November 7th, I think. I know it's early November, but I'm pretty sure it's November 7th. And, like, I just couldn't. It was like the minute that I finished Hunting Adeline, and I was like, I need something fucking good. I need something that I'm going to enjoy. I need fun. Like, and I saw it on my shelf. I was like, I know I'm going to fucking like it. I know in my bones, in my marrow, that I'm going to like this fucking book. And I know I wanted to wait until October, but I need to right now. This is my reward for making it through Haunting Adeline. And what a reward it was. I've already started my next book on my TBR because I have so many things I want to read this fall that I don't want to bleed into winter time because they just don't feel right. But I'm still like, I'll be reading, and what I'm reading is interesting. I'm reading Bunny, and it's interesting and I like it, but it's just like, where's the dragons? You know, I'm like, I want dragons again. And like, I even considered like halting my fall TBR just to read another fantasy book, but I couldn't really find anything that really met all the marks, because what I loved about this book is like, the fantasy elements, the dragons, the world building, but also like the characters are what really made this book, the tension between them, their friendship, their dialogue, like the romance, like all of those factors are so hard to find in a book that does it all so well. And I was like, I know whatever book I pick up after this, if it's fantasy, I'm going to be disappointed. So I need to read something that's not fantasy. So I picked up a horror book that I know I'm going to like. So, yeah, fucking read this book. If for some reason you watch this video and you didn't read the book, like, I am telling every one of my friends to pick this fucking book up. Every single one. Like, I don't care if they fucking read fantasy. You're going to read this fucking book right here, right now, in front of me. It's phenomenal. I loved it. Of course, like I said, it's not a perfect book. So I did rate it about 4.5 stars out of 5 because there are some flaws that I couldn't really overlook, including like I said, like, I wish that we had a little bit more breadcrumbs of foreshadowing. Yes, some of the dialogue is a little cringy, and do I think the representation could have been a little bit more? Yes. But was it an enjoyable book? Yeah. Did we get some cool representation of what we did get? Absolutely. God, give me more deaf characters. Give me more disabled characters. Please give me more disabled characters. Come on. I can't fucking wait for Iron Flame. I fucking can't wait. I'm so excited. Okay. So that's really it. Thanks for watching me absolutely lose my mind while reading this book. And then thanks for watching me word vomit for probably an hour. So, yeah, if you liked this video, feel free to give it a like. If you like my videos, feel free to subscribe and follow me on all my other social medias. I do have an Instagram. It's a bookstagram where I post like kind of easier to digest reviews. So I do have one for Fourth Wing. That's, it includes like the description of the book, my personal like little blurb review, the spice level, my rating, my playlist for the book, and just some other fun pictures that I thought really represented the energy and vibe of the book. And I do that for just about any book that I read. I also have a TikTok. where I also post book content, not as digestible as the other things on my Instagram, but we have fun over there. And lastly, I have my Goodreads, where you can feel free to follow me and catch up with what I'm currently reading. And yeah, that's really it. Thank you so much for making it through this entire video. I appreciate everyone who watches. Just helps me feel like I'm not talking into the void about what I read. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time, and I hope whatever you're reading is beautiful and life-changing and as amazing as Fourth Wing. Bye. Thank you.